through the arbor in the garden room.
Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to another writing vlog. It is currently 9 o'clock and we just took the dogs on a beautiful walk on one of the trails near our house. And yeah, we woke up a little bit late. Usually I like to wake up at around 6, but we woke up at 7 and yeah, I guess that's still really not that late, but we woke up, took the dogs on a walk, and I just made myself some breakfast, which is just a granola bowl with some bananas and strawberries, and yeah, I'm starving, so I'm very much looking forward to eating this. But I thought for this writing vlog we could do a little bit more of a chill, chatty, kind of cozy vlog. My last couple of videos have definitely been a little bit more intense with the editing, so I wanted to dial it back a little bit this week and just film a couple of days in my life as an aspiring author. If you're new here, hi, I'm Amelia. I am a writer, I'm a sci-fi writer, and I'm currently working on a dystopian sci-fi manuscript. And yeah, I thought I could show you guys a time-stamped couple of days in my life, what it looks like to be working on my project. I am currently only working part-time. I only work 3 days a week. So the rest of the week, I pretty much spend all of my time writing or filming or editing. So like I mentioned, today is Saturday, and luckily I am all wrapped up with my video editing for this week. So this weekend, all I'm really focusing on is working on my project. So I just officially hit 20,000 words in the draft, and I finally finished writing The Inciting Incident, which was such a struggle for me. It took me like what felt like forever to write those scenes, and also it is violently overwritten. There is way too much going on. I already know that I'm going to be scrapping so much of the setup stuff that I added at the beginning, but that's sort of where I'm at in terms of working on the draft. It is, like I said, now 9 o'clock, and because it's Saturday, I like to kind of try and have a relaxing morning for the weekend. So yeah, we took the dogs on a walk, and I'm gonna go ahead and eat my breakfast, and then I think I'll do some writing for maybe like an hour and a half or 2 hours. But I have been obsessed with this new boba place that I discovered recently, and they have the best matcha in the world, I swear. And ever since I ordered a matcha from there last week, I have been craving it. So they open at 11 and I'm gonna go and get a matcha, but I don't think I'm gonna hang out there. I've kind of just been really enjoying hanging out at home recently. And yes, I do basically have a cafe in my house. Like I have a whole espresso machine, but this matcha is worth the trip and the money. Like sometimes you just need a little sweet treat, and it's the weekend. So yeah, that's the plan. I'm gonna go ahead and eat my breakfast, then we will get into doing a little writing session. Okay, hello. So I ended up writing for about an hour and 45 minutes. It was a good writing session, and it is now 11:15, and I just went and picked up my matcha, which this is seriously the best matcha in the world, I feel like. It comes with this like salted cold foam, which goes so good with the sweet vanilla matcha. Yeah, it's just the best matcha. I feel like I can definitely justify the price of this because it is just just so good. But anyway, yeah, I wrote for a little bit this morning, and I want to update you guys a little bit on where I am in the manuscript and just like how writing has been going in general lately. So let me set this down so I can talk a little bit easier. So yeah, at this point, I have officially passed the whole inciting incident, and like I said, those scenes ended up taking me so much longer to write than I was expecting, and the scenes themselves are also extremely long and also overwritten. I'm definitely going to cut a bunch of stuff out later when I go to do revisions, and I don't know why, but those scenes were really difficult for me to write, and it ended up taking me, like, I don't even know, maybe a week and a half or almost 2 weeks just to get through those scenes, which is probably not like a reasonable timeline for writing a single like plot point or whatever, but I wanted to take my time with it because those scenes were what I like saw in my head when I initially decided to write a sci-fi project. So I wanted to do a good job with them and take my time with them and be happy with them before moving forward. So it was definitely a slow moving process, but I feel like sometimes you just have to slow down and give your writing some time. I sometimes feel pressure to get things done super quickly, but I think that can actually ultimately be a disservice to your writing and also just to, you know, also your enjoyment of working on your project. So anyway, I took my sweet time working on the inciting incident, and now what I'm working on today is obviously what's happening now after this inciting incident. So Animus, one of my main POVs, one of my main characters, she's basically trying to work through this next stage in her life. This is a sci-fi project. It's very space opera-y. So at this point, they are going off-world, and Animus is trying to reconcile this change and how she's going to approach it and deal with it, and like, yeah, what her next steps are going to be, and also kind of strategizing relationships because she is essentially being shipped off to this kind of training center, this Imperial training center. So that's what's going on with Animus. She's having this like full-blown debate period, but Eli, my other main character, is kind of, I don't know, not really having that, and maybe later on I should go and readjust, but obviously I'm just sort of figuring it out as I go at this point. But Eli is being thrown into this new situation kind of totally out of his own will. So I'm trying to figure out how this debate period will look for him, because this next phase that he's going into is not something that he's actively choosing. But at the same time, if he were to like stay in his current situation, there's pretty much honestly nothing left for him. So even though he's being thrown into this very scary, unexpected situation, it's almost like he unfortunately has nothing to lose. So it's very interesting. I'm having a very fun time. I have to say, I'm very happy to finally be over this kind of rut, honestly, of being stuck in working on the inciting incident. And I don't know, I'm such a perfectionist and it's so awful, and I'm really trying to get over that feeling that everything needs to be perfect before I can move on, especially because, like, to be so for real, like, of course this first draft is not going to be anywhere near good. So I don't know why I'm expecting it to be this like polished, pretty looking manuscript, because it's definitely not gonna be that. It's not even like that, even remotely at this point. But like I said, my main characters are at this point being shipped off world, and essentially they're being sent to my planet's moon, where the Empire keeps its like imperial orders. So my society has a bunch of different ranks within the different classes, and Animus basically is going to train to become this like prestigious semi-religious figure. So a big part of them going off world obviously is trying to figure out the whole technology of everything everything. I've really been struggling working on this sci-fi project with how much I need to explain in terms of like how the technology works, and I've talked about this before, but it's still kind of something that I'm dealing with. So yeah, they're being shipped off world, and obviously they are doing that in a spaceship sort of deal, but I never know what the right way or how much is too much of something to explain. And also, I don't want this to be a super hard sci-fi novel. I want it to be more kind of soft, like everything is sort of explained, but it's not like super nitty gritty, because I'm more interested in exploring my characters and especially the society. So anyway, it's just been this sort of reoccurring thing where I'm worried I'm over explaining, but then at the same time, I do have a lot of fun explaining how things work and like coming up with all of the names for the different technology. And I just think the terminology in sci-fi novels is like what really makes the genre shine for me. So I've been trying to come up with a super rich world with really detailed like terminology and really detailed technology, and you know, do my best to make sure that everything connects and makes sense. But it's a first draft, so it doesn't have to be that good. And honestly, the tea is that I do kind of expect that for draft 2, I'm just gonna do a total rewrite. I mean, I do plan to do a total like read through and maybe some annotation and obviously like take notes on all the things I want to change, but at this point I do expect I'm gonna do a total rewrite. So it's okay if things don't make sense, and honestly sometimes things aren't very consistent, but it's a good time. And I just feel really happy that I'm finally out of the inciting incident. I was like really struggling with those couple of chapters there for a minute, so I feel like I'm out of inciting incident hell at this point. Okay, so it is now 11:30 and I think I'm gonna go ahead and get back into doing some more writing. Sometimes I do like to take little reading breaks in between writing sessions, but today I'm very much feeling in the writing flow, so I think I'm just gonna get back into writing and yeah, also drink my matcha, of course. Okay, so I just finished my writing for the day. I like to try to get my writing sessions in the morning because I just feel like I always write so much better if that's the first thing that I do in the day. So yeah, I don't even know how much I ended up writing today. I think it was somewhere around 2-ish hours, but it is now lunchtime, so I just made myself some lunch. And if you didn't know, I am currently kind of trying to pursue self-employment on YouTube. My dream is to be able to do YouTube full time, and yeah, so because that's my current goal, I'm basically treating YouTube and content as my second job, even though I'm not currently being paid, but I try my best to treat it like a job and to be organized with it. So I think now, since I've kind of wrapped up my writing for the day, I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to doing some content creation stuff. I've been keeping a pretty detailed content schedule, and I just had a couple of video ideas that I want to try to plan for, so I'm gonna put those in my calendar and yeah, just work on doing, I guess, a little bit of admin work. And then I do also need to water my plants today, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna eat lunch. I'm very hungry, but yeah, very glad that I was able to fit in some good writing this morning. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and eat my lunch and then do some admin content stuff, and then I need to also water my plants. So yeah, that's the plan. Hello everyone, good morning. It is currently 8 o'clock. I just woke up about an hour ago and got ready, and now it is time to just get back into doing some writing. My goal today is hopefully maybe to finish chapter 7. I'm like almost at the end of this chapter. Luckily, I was able to write a good amount yesterday actually, so yeah, it's been a good weekend of writing and I really want to focus on just writing for today. Yesterday we had like a fun Saturday and we went out to dinner and saw a movie, but today I want to just kind of exclusively focus on my novel. So hopefully I will finish the chapter today. I'm actually feeling really good about the writing in this chapter. It's just almost funny how different Animus and Eli are because of their circumstances, and yeah, they're like in the same place but they're coming from two completely different lives. So it's just fun to be able to write the two of them and basically be able to experience my world through both of their perspectives. And when I first started writing this project, I kind of had a little bit of struggle writing Animus because of her whole background and her perspective, and I was struggling with an angle to make her feel like an interesting character. But I do kind of feel like I cracked the code, and I added a little element of her backstory, and just because of her personality as well, I do think she is kind of taking some shape and kind of becoming more of an interesting character. I just love, as I write more, seeing my characters come more into themselves. It's funny, I feel like when you start writing your project, you have this idea of who you want your character to be, but when you actually start writing, it almost feels like they already sort of exist and you're sort of just like uncovering their personality and their backstory and all of their fun little quirks, which is like one of my favorite things about characters. Obviously, at this point, the characters are very much subject to change and obviously don't totally understand everything about them, but they are coming more and more into these characters that I really like and I think are kind of funny and interesting, and yeah, hopefully bring some interesting dynamics to the novel. Let's just get into doing some writing, but I haven't had coffee yet today, so let's go ahead and make a coffee before we do some writing. So I just had one of those writing sprints where it feels like time just completely stops and you're just like sucked into the writing void. So it's now currently 11 o'clock and yeah, I guess I must have been writing for like 3 hours, which is crazy because it did not feel like I was writing honestly for even like 30 minutes. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with that writing session. I did end up finishing chapter 7. The ending is definitely a little bit weird and not what I was expecting to write. I might honestly go back and edit some things, which I've been trying my hardest not to go back and edit because I feel like it can really slow down the drafting process, and you know, I do want to finish this draft in a timely manner. My plan is 6 months, but yeah, I'm really trying not to go back to edit, so maybe I'll just leave the weird, like, unexpected ending to chapter 7. Basically, my character ended up having a very weird and unexpected conversation, so the whole dialogue bit was not how I expected it to go. But you know, nothing that you write in a draft is technically permanent. So if I hate it later on, I can just edit it and take it out or whatever. But I am sort of starting to feel a little bit antsy. Like I've been in the house all morning. So I think I'm gonna go out to a coffee shop. It has been a minute since I've done a writing session at a coffee shop. I really want to get a matcha and just kind of hang out. I don't know if I'm gonna do any drafting. I really actually want to go into my outline and readjust a couple of things. As I've been working on this draft, I've been slowly kind of revising and reworking the outline as I'm writing, which is so funny because like when you put together an outline, you think this is exactly how the book is gonna go, and it just feels like you know exactly how your plot is gonna end up looking. But then as you start writing, you realize, yeah, that is definitely not what is going on in this book. So that's definitely been the case for me as I'm writing. Details change, my characters' motivations especially are changing because I'm figuring out who they are and discovering that my initial idea of what they would choose to happen or how events would happen or how their reactions to things would be are definitely drastically changing. So yeah, as I've been writing, I've been trying to readjust the outline, and honestly it's kind of fun to tweak things and try my best to keep things organized. And I feel like this is a very coffee shop task, just to kind of work on the outline. And I like to talk things out with John, who is my husband. It's very helpful for me to just kind of process things out loud with him. So yeah, let's go to a coffee shop, do a little bit of outlining work, and very excited to just kind of get out of the house and hang out and have a chill Sunday. So it is currently 3 o'clock. We got back from the coffee shop about an hour ago, and I didn't end up doing any drafting, which I didn't really plan to anyway, but I did actually end up having kind of a big-ish breakthrough for me. There's this really important species of insect in my novel, which I've basically invented, and I've been dealing with this problem of figuring out how they scientifically do this thing, which is very important to the plot. I don't want to explain too much because it is like integral to the story. But yeah, I've been trying for forever to figure out how these insects do this specific thing, which is very important. And it was important to me to have a scientific explanation for how it happens, and I've been struggling with how to rationalize or explain, I guess, how they do this. And I don't know, I just feel like coffee shops are the best place to talk about your book and kind of process any problems that you're going through with your plot, because I ended up finally figuring out how I want to explain this whole process, and it is very important, but I just haven't been able to figure out how I wanted to explain it. So I finally figured that out, which feels very rewarding, and like I can go forward much easier understanding how this mechanism works. So yeah, I did a little bit of brainstorming, world building stuff, and I did go ahead and go through the outline and update some plot points that I think are gonna happen like maybe in the next couple of chapters. I'm noticing as I'm writing, the things that I had plotted are just not, they are not going to happen at all like how I expected. But honestly, that's just how writing a book goes, especially the first draft. Like, there's no way to plan. I mean, you can definitely outline, and I think that it's good to outline, but at the same time, I've kind of just been letting things flow and yeah, just letting things be and readjusting as I go. So I did go ahead and update the outline and changed some scenes around, and also got rid of some scenes and added some scenes that I want to write instead of the other ones that I got rid of. It's been a very fun and productive writing weekend. I did end up writing a fair amount, and I'm just so happy about this plot breakthrough because I've seriously been trying to figure out this problem for months, and I'm happy to have finally found a solution that I like and that I think will work. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the vlog here. Usually I like to film entire weeks, so I have no idea how this video is going to turn out, but I really wanted to kind of just show you guys a couple of time-stamped days in my life. I thought it would be really interesting to see the makeup of my days, and obviously my days vary. Like, often I am also editing, so I don't always have days where I'm writing the entire day, but this weekend luckily was a writing focused weekend, which I'm really happy about because I ended up making some good progress in the draft. Finally finished chapter 7, which is exciting, and yeah, like I said, made a big plot breakthrough, which those are my favorite. That is like one of the most rewarding things about drafting. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it all the way till this point, comment this emoji, and I will see you all next week with a very exciting video that I'm really looking forward to filming. So yeah, I will see you all then. Okay, bye.
Wings are beating